So welcome to our project pitch event, this wonderful Monday evening. I will introduce some quick facts about what's going to happen next at TechLabs Berlin to you. So the most important information that you need to know to get into the project phase successfully. And but we will not take that much time off your schedule, but leave as much time as possible to the actual pitches, of course. So what do you need to do to get the digital shaper certificate in the end? You will get this certificate if you finish your project successfully. This is why the project phase is so important. You also will need to write some kind of quick summary about your project together as a group, and you will need to present your project results to the community. But don't worry about the presentation aspects. The most important thing is that you work really hard on your project and that you deliver something useful at the end of the project phase. Some key facts about the project phase. We aim to have interdisciplinary projects, so projects that are beyond the scope of a single TechLabs track, and projects which solve a real-world problem. You will have 6 weeks to complete your project implementation, and we will have some events during those 6 weeks. So the first important event will happen on June 9th, which is the project kickoff, where you will officially get the project that you're assigned to. Hopefully, it will be the project that you want to do, and you will also get some useful information on how you can implement a project successfully. Then we will have a social meetup on June 25th to share your experiences in the project phase, to get everyone up to date and excited. And then on July 4th, we will have our project Hack Night, which is basically an event that will cover a whole evening where we and the mentors will be present to answer any questions you might have, and the idea is that you all take, or as many people as you want, take an evening off for working on your projects together as a group. And then finally, about 2 weeks later, on July 19th, we will have a project submission where you will share your final results with us. Okay, talking about the organization of the project phase, we have designed this way that you will submit your preferences to us, and we will do our best to ensure that everyone gets their favorite project. Preferences means first, second, and third preference. So the form for submitting your preference is already online, and you can start to submit your preference as soon as possible. You will need to submit your preference until the latest on next Thursday, end of day. So every project that is funded successfully will get a dedicated Slack channel for communication within the group and the mentors. You will also get one or as many as you want GitHub repositories under our organization, and you will also get some advice on useful services that you can use. But basically, the most important thing that is your responsibility to organize yourselves and to make use of the tools that you deem most efficient and important for your project. So we will provide the basic infrastructure, of course, but you will need to fill in the rest, of course. Speaking of mentoring, you will be given a dedicated mentor for your project. When the project starts, we would ask you for special skills that you think a mentor should have for your project. Let's say, I don't know, you have some data science or AI implementation, then it makes sense that your project mentor has the matching skills. And we really encourage you to do a weekly update meeting with your mentor to answer any upcoming questions and to keep you as a group and the whole thing up to date. If you've got any questions regarding the project phase or the projects being pitched tonight, we encourage you to look at the project base. It is linked at our homepage, and many of you have already seen the threads I've created last night in the Ideas Slack channel. So just use those Slack channels to communicate with everyone that is interested to engage with your project and also please try to keep the existing threads in order to keep the whole thing organized. Okay, so as I've said, you need to send in your preference until June the 4th, which is next Thursday, at this URL. You will also find it on the homepage and on Slack and everywhere, so that won't be a problem. Then we will assign you a project until June 8th, sorry. Then you can start hacking, and we need everyone to attend the project kickoff event on June 9th at 7 p.m. This is really important for us that everyone is on deck on this event, because it's a really unique opportunity to get your project started in your project team. And we will really think that one event where everyone is present really makes sense. Okay, said again, Till has made a remarkable document which should answer most of your questions. The project phase knowledge base, you can find it at this URL, or again linked on our homepage. So please read the document, and of course, if you still got questions, just ask in public Slack channels or the team, and we will of course answer your question and also update this document. Okay, then I've already finished my quick introduction. This will be the schedule of the pitches for tonight. I will briefly go through the schedule in a few seconds, and then Sarah will take over and do the actual pitches with you. So the order in which we will pitch is the first project is VHS Coursefinder. Second one will be SOKR, calculating your CO2 footprint. Third one, plant journey. Fourth, KINO body. Fifth, Berlin historical tours. Sixth, berlinrents.live. Seventh, street historian local explorer. Number 8 is preventing the spread of the misinformation on the coronavirus. Number 9, InkedIn. 10th place, an hour for an hour. 11 is better together, and lastly 12 is a safety app for public transport. Oh, actually that's not all, but wait, we have one more left. We have the Green Gang left. So that will be the order for tonight. It would be nice if you could already prepare for your pitch. So what will happen in a few seconds, so when we start with VHS Coursefinder, Sarah will briefly ask for the person that is pitching to speak up, basically. She will open up the slides for the pitch. She will start a 2-minute timer, and as soon as the person that is pitching starts to speak, the 2 minutes will start running, and we will be somehow strict, or like delete the somehow. We will be strict about the timing, because if we allow like the first people to pitch for 4 minutes, then no one will be listening at the end. So you will have exactly 2 minutes, after which we will interrupt you, and then we will go on to the next pitch to make it fair for everyone. Okay, that being said, I would transition to Sarah.
Yes, can you please give me little feedback if you can actually see well? Does that work?
It's loading and we can see it. Yeah, it should work.
Okay.
If you maybe you can go to the Finder window and then press Command 2, so that we only see one slide at a time.
I have no idea what I'm
Or go to Darstellung und dann Einzelseitenansicht. Einzelseiten.
Yeah.
So. Nice.
Good. All right, so I will ask everybody to, if he's actually there, and then we follow the order that you expected. Niklas, could you start with your VHS Coursefinder? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Hi, perfect. So yeah, I will start the timer whenever you're ready, and yeah, please just let me know if you're ready to go.
Yeah, sure, hit me up. Hi, then, good evening. What I want to present to you is the VHS Coursefinder. For those of you who don't know, the VHS, that's the fun German acronym for the Volkshochschule, which is basically a public education institution that exists in basically all German cities. You could go to the next slide, please. the Volkshochschule in Berlin, there are 12 in each Bezirk of Berlin, and they have a wide range of courses offered, basically anything from, you know, language to web development or ceramics or pottery or whatever you could imagine. However, it's really hard to actually find a good course for you because there is a central register on the website of the City of Berlin, but the website is absolutely not user-friendly. The search function is super messy. Basically, all courses, no matter what time they take place or if they're fully booked or not, they're all shown together. And if you want to search in English, don't even bother. The website is in German. There is a function to search for English courses only, but I actually tried it on the website. And the only course you will find is a fully booked course on colors and shapes of ceramics. So that would be quite disappointing. So if you go to the next slide, here would be my solution. Not very surprisingly, create a better website to promote adult education by making these courses more accessible, especially to younger generation, because many don't know them. Build a user-friendly website that makes it more accessible, especially to non-German speakers in Berlin, and also support the onboarding system of the Volkshochschule. My idea would be to create an open source protocol that other cities could also use, but you could start by using it in Berlin and potentially also track user data in order to like improve or help the VHS to improve their course offerings. What I already have on the next slide, there is a data set of course offerings. That's actually how I had this idea. It's uploaded every week to the Berlin Open Data Portal, as both as a JSON and XML file. It's a bit messy, so it will be a challenge for someone savvy with data. I know current users of the VHS and also potential untapped users, and I have contacts with people who work with the City of Berlin on open data and smart city projects.
Okay, I'm also just seeing this timer for the first time. Great, thank you so much. Just in time. Yeah, Felix, what do you think? Are we doing questions, or are we quickly jumping to the next one?
I would say we jump into the next pitch and that the questions be discussed. So
okay,
cool. I think that makes most sense.
Then Niklas, thank you very, very much. Philip, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Hi.
All right. Are those my slides, right?
Yeah.
Those ones are coming? Okay, cool. Okay, I'm ready.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Can we jump to the first one, to the intro slide? Right. So my project is called SOKR, which stands for Sustainable Objectives and Key Results. And essentially, it's a solution for companies to manage and reduce their CO2 emissions. So there's 3 key goals, and that is, of course, to become sustainable, but also to empower your employees and save money at the same time. Yeah, next slide, please. So we all know, the trend of sustainability. It's pushing, and corporations are already, trying to reduce their CO2 footprint, investing billions of dollars to actually remove all the CO2 that they've ever emitted, and there's large market opportunity. Next slide, please. And at the same time, there's a consumer push to follow this trend as well. Consumers are more woke, as they call it. There's distrust in capitalism, and of course, the fear of climate disasters. So there's a push for organizations to change. Next slide, please. So the overall vision, which we'll not be able to achieve in this scope, I think, but the idea is to create a dashboard where organizations can easily input their information, their CO2 relevant information, measure it, and then create SOKR, so Sustainable Objectives and Key Results, to create goals to reduce their emissions while saving money, so that they create efficiency. And this dashboard will be, next slide. The first iteration of the dashboard will include a rough idea of the user interface, because UX is going to be critical here. The data should be somewhat processable and should be benchmarked against a certain standard, and hopefully create some data science magic to provide some recommendations for future productions. That's it.
Are you on time, or I mean, is it, or do you want?
Yeah, it's fine. Sure, people can ask later. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue. Christoph, are you here?
Yeah, perfect. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, let's start it.
Okay, let me quickly reset the timer, and probably plant journey.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's get started.
Perfect. Yeah, let me take you on a little journey actually, did you ever buy the wrong plant, or did you ever struggle to find the right plant for you? Well, that's the issue I had, and I would. It would be great if you could go to the next slide, actually, so that we can dig a little bit deeper into the problem. So actually, which plant reads my individual requirements? The issue was I was in a garden center. I didn't find the right plant. I asked all the personnel. They didn't give me the right information, or the precise information. The product labels weren't precise enough. The internet was a little bit complicated. So it was hard for me to get all the information I had on, or I needed for the plant. So I bought the wrong one, and it was a really princess plant, and it's a princess plant which is standing right in front of me, and it's hard to take care of. So it would have been better for me just to have a helping hand, like an app that would guide me through the process of buying the right plant for me. Please go to the next slide. And actually, me as a user, it would be great for me if I would have been enabled to find the right plant, so a plant that matches my requirements. So the solution would be actually to build a web app that has a focused design that's really focused on helping the user finding the right plant for him, put the user right in the center of everything, and to equip everything with AI image recognition, so that we can help users find their beautiful plant that is right for them. Please next to the next slide, please. And actually, potential users, us, what we need, web development guys, and all of you who are interested in it. Thanks.
Guys, feel free to finish the last sentence, or like, I mean, it's just I know it's very.
I felt a little bit pressured, but yeah, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Mariko, are you there?
Yep.
Perfect. Wait, let me reset. And let's get started.
Hi, people. I'd like to introduce my idea, the name KINO. Please go to the next slide, please. So the KINO is like to connect the people in Berlin. So I have lived in Berlin for nearly 3 years, but there are a lot of expats from all over the world in Berlin. But even a lot of people there, it is not easy to meet true friends. So not that these issues happened before coronavirus, I think. So people in Berlin have different reasons. So some people are kind of the job opportunities, and say people studying in Berlin as a full-time student. So a lot of people have different values. So even though they have great meetups, so it's very difficult to meet new people and also to be true friends. And some shy people are not happy to go such kind of events. So I think would like to solve this problem. Okay, please go to the next slide. So by using KINO, users can meet new people through the cinema preference matching system to book cinema together. So I believe that people who love the same cinema has maybe sharing the same value. So this is how to use the app. So user can search which films are available in the area in Berlin, or in particular area in Berlin. And users can add films into their favorite film list, and KINO will suggest someone who has a similar interest in the film. So users could contact the person and go to cinema together, and may find a good trend after enjoying the cinema together. Okay, please move on to the next slide. So what I already have is a knowledge about web development from scratch. I am the UX track, but I could support development as well. And a passion to support many industries through this app, because cinema industry has a lot of problems in the coronavirus. It's also supported. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Like, it's very loud, so we definitely all keep our times. Okay, Isabel, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Ready?
I'm ready, yes.
Cool.
So the name of our app is Berlin Historical Tours, and it was mainly thought and developed by Felix and myself. And if you go to the next slide, please. So our basic idea is to build a web app that could generate touristic routes between several points of interest. And this comes as just not to be another touristic app, but also like a new way of finding different types of historical and thematic landmarks. So, for example, we could, based on user input, we could decide start and end positions where we would like to start and end our route, and choose the categories that we would like to work on. So this comes to, maybe if you go to the next slide, please, to work with different historical data from Berlin, not just the mainstream points of interest, but also with other places around Berlin that we don't know, like archaeological sites or monuments that are not very well known. And if you go to the next slide, please. So the idea that we would like to work, Felix will probably jump in. Felix?
Felix, are you there?
Yeah, Felix. I think, yeah, there you are. No, you cannot.
Can you join, or?
I think he's muted or something. Let me look. So he's there and not muted, but we can't hear him. So I would say, Isabel, if you can also explain it somehow.
Yeah, so basically we would like to have web devs and UX besides me and Felix, who are in the data science track, and we thought about dividing the back end and the front end. Felix has a lot of experience in web gaze applications. So we would like to implement a machine learning algorithm where we do a deep search algorithm in the weighted graph, where we can compute two places, like the different points from the points that we want to meet, and to generate the routes. And yeah, so basically what we would like to do is have web developers and figure out together how to build this app.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Next one. I think Daniel is presenting, right?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Cool, all right, you can start.
Wait, it's like, it's now we are back to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, you can go. Yeah, so this is our idea. We call it berlinrents.live. It's a take on insights on rents and housing in Berlin. Next slide, please. So 85% of all flats in Berlin are rentals. There's over almost 1.7 million flats for rent or rentals in Berlin. Next slide, please. Then why is it so hard to find an apartment in Berlin? We start with this question, and I think there's lots of issues, but one of our main issues that we want to tackle is this fragmented information that is everywhere about rental in Berlin. There's too many sources, too many things over there. We want to kind of consolidate that into a useful solution to kind of help out the rental issues in Berlin. Next slide, please. We started this idea, we started to form this idea a long time ago, right in the beginning of the whole TechLabs thing. I teamed up with Hassan, and we researched and collected lots of data sources. We're already building some scraping tools to see what we can get of rental data out there. We have some sort of vision and motivation, and we are now open for further development and, of course, ideas and inputs from the rest of the team. Next slide, please. So the solution would be a web app, which would extract powerful insights and predictions from aggregated rent data and housing data in Berlin. There will be like a map view or reports view with lots of functions. And of course, within this apps, we need both data science, web and UX, because it can be a very complicated topic, and as well as implementing maybe some AI later with MLP or some other machine learning algorithms to extract much more insights from this data and give a much more useful solution to the tool. Next slide, please. And of course, we want to bring all the knowledge that we learn in TechLabs. So we want to try these ideas and new perspectives, but we also want to create, most important, a very useful and impactful project for people of Berlin, as hopefully published as a public open source tool, so everybody can actually make good use of it. Yes. That was very hard, actually.
Just in time.
Cool.
Thank you very much. Mario, are you there?
It's Maria.
Yeah.
Hello, yes, I'm here. Yeah, we can start. So if you would open my slide, I have two working names for this thing, street historian or local explorer. It's supposed to be about walking, about exploring your city, your neighborhood, whatever, about seeing the little details of the urban space. So the next slide, please. So imagine the situation. You're walking down the street, you see something interesting, like I have the picture with unicorns in a window. I want to know what it is, what it's about, but I don't really have time to Google all of this, and there are not really apps that would help me to find very quickly what I'm searching for. Or imagine another situation. You move to a new area, or maybe you are in a new part of the city that you don't know very well, and you would like to go exploring, but not sure if there is really something interesting down the street. And you don't know, you can decide which way to go. So the solution for both of these things is, as I think, an app where you can see on a map what there is interesting around you, or maybe if you see something interesting, you can look it up on the map, on the app, what it is, and get some kind of story behind it. And a very important part of this would be a community. So if you see something interesting or you don't know where to go and the app doesn't really say anything, you can just ask the community, like take a picture and ask the people, hey guys, anyone knows something about this building? What's it all about? Or maybe if you have time to wait a bit, you can say, okay, I'm like in this street now, do you think I should go left or right or something? But of course, having an app that would suggest a route like the one in the historical tours of Berlin, that would be also an interesting part of this. Yeah, so next slide, please. Nothing else to say, I'm on the UX track. Yeah, I think I already said everything, just maybe if you want to know, I'm on the UX track. I have a very basic knowledge of programming, and since it's my idea, I could work on the concept a lot.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.
So, Dorothea, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Oh, cool. Everybody here today. Amazing. Okay, ready to get started?
Yes. Okay, hi. Coronavirus is a thing, as you all know. And on the next slide, you will see, the problem that I thought of, or that it actually exists. Social media is used as a source of information, but as you all know, there's a lot of misleading or potentially harmful information there, which is a big problem. And yeah, Twitter and Facebook, for example, already have these fact-checking organizations employed, but they're very slow because they only mark posts or tweets as harmful if they have already been reported by a lot of people and have been analyzed by a team. So my problem is, okay, if I read something and it's about the coronavirus in this case, and how do I know if it's actually true? So I would have to do my own research. That's where my idea then comes from. It's on the next slide. They help with fact checking. So the thing is, you read a post, and then you could put it in on a website, on an app, and then the website recognizes the topic and gives you official information related to the posts, which official information sources would be the Robert Koch Institute or the Bundesministerium für Gesundheit. Basically to have an immediate fact check of the posts that you've seen. I think this would be a doable and interesting and socially valuable project, which would involve all 4 tracks. The problem would be to keep the information up to date because, of course, information on the virus is changing. But I think if we would all work together, we would find some interesting solution for this. And we can also get some inspiration. Similar project, but as far as I know, nothing like this exists. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, InkedIn. Merlin, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go. All right. Yeah, many of you might have a tattoo or want a tattoo, and one problem I encountered twice so far only, but is you see a tattoo with a style you like, or you have a very clear picture of what you want on your skin, and of course you want it to look great. So you don't want to just walk into any old tattoo shop. You want to find an artist and you want to check them out first. Does her style fit your ideas? Is there anything similar this artist has done? Then you find an artist, and this one is based in Russia or Korea or wherever, and now really is not the time to travel, but you're sure you can probably find someone capable somewhere else. Next slide. So my solution would be InkedIn. What you do here in a web or mobile app, you upload a picture of your friend's tattoo, a tattoo by an artist you like, whatever you found basically. The app runs image recognition, tries to find maybe a general motive, possibly a style, and most importantly, of course, the artist. And in addition to that, the existing database is search for similar images and returns those plus the above mentioned labels. Next. This is how it could look. As I said, you upload the image and probably get a name or maybe an Instagram handle, as this is where most tattoo artists are doing their stuff nowadays. Next. And what you could also do, there's a lot of extensions to this, which would be really up to the project group, I guess. You could have a tool to contact the artist. You could see schedules of bookings that are opening or closing, whether walk-ins are done, all that kind of stuff, or see their upcoming travel plans, and then maybe even see if they're using vegan ink, if that is important to you, or list the studio's hygiene policy if you want to check that out. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, next one. An hour for an hour.
Okay, I'm here.
Perfect. Great. Okay, then let's get started.
Okay, online learning is starting to become popular, and we all know about it. But how many of you have signed up in a course and then realized that you're not motivated enough? How many of you wanted to go through a course but thought it was so difficult you would need somebody to actually explain it? And many a times we go through things and we do not find any other options and we give up on the learning. Plus, there are many people that are focused on learning something, but there are also everyday people that want to learn simple tasks that can be achieved by learning in an hour. But there isn't an option where we can connect real-time learning together. So this is where we begin exploring digital learning using an hour for an hour. So now, next slide, please. Now that we are very clear about the problem, understand that pre-recorded resources isn't really like talking to a person. We want to experiment and see if we can bring one-on-one learning to not just for specific learners, but to everybody that might be interested in learning a simple thing to a most complex thing possible, but by interacting with someone. So the idea is, next slide, to have a website that I would like to call an hour for an hour. And this is where people can sign up and offer requests to what it is that they would like to learn. The idea is you give 1 hour and then you take 1 hour. The reason why this is important is because many people have gone on to things like Tandem, where they start talking and then they realize that what they wanted was not necessarily what they got, but they only had to listen to the other person. So by breaking down what it is that they want to learn into an hour framework, they are motivated enough to either listen and then the other obviously to speak about it. So this way we can bring those two parties together and hopefully have something that would be very much alluding to not just during Corona, after Corona, and to the whole world, so that simple everyday people can start connecting for an hour to learn something new. I come from the web development track. If you find the idea important and you like it, together with me then.
Cool, thanks. The next one is also yours, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then better together. Let me quickly reset. Okay, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right, better together.
Okay, Corona is here. We're together in it. There's nothing we can do about it in terms of vaccination or anything like that unless we get the information. But we are still alive, we're going, and there are people out there that need help. Next slide. The problem is there are many people that are actually at higher risk than just healthy people like ourselves. Now, imagine yourself sitting at home and you are thinking about Corona, but rather than just sitting and thinking about it, would you not be up to helping if you were easily able to get information about somebody that would just like a basic help? For example, they want a grocery shopping done, they want their prescription done, or they just simply want to get their dog out for a walk, and they're just live 10 minutes by you. Would you not go forward and do something about it? And that's where the idea came to me. Yes, we would, but most importantly, we need to find a way through which we can achieve this, to do this. Next slide, please. So the solution is a web portal that connects risk groups with volunteers. Now, understandably, this is a very risky thing in terms of implementation. However, I think that if this is done in a more structured fashion, then this is something that can be done in longevity as well. So if you are interested in helping, if you want to show that you are together in Corona, then I think the joy of doing the help will be as much as actually creating something that will allow for us to be better together during these tough times. So if you find this idea amazing, if you find this idea meaningful, and if you are in this journey to create something that might possibly make the life of some person easier, please be together and let's get this done.
Cool. Thank you very much. Okay. Eva, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can all hear
Okay,
you.
great. Yep,
Perfect.
you can start. Okay.
Go.
Next slide, please. Yeah. So my idea is to create a safety app for public transport to make public transport safer for everyone. Next slide, please. The problem is that women and other groups often feel unsafe and uncomfortable taking public transport, especially at night. And sexual crime against women on public transport is actually a highly underreported offense. In most places around the world, it's not obvious and easy where to report such offenses. And also the bureaucracy, stigma, and effort that are involved with actually going to the police is putting people off. And people also often think that nothing can be done once they report this to the police. Next slide, please. So my solution would be to build an app or integrate this to already existing public transportation apps that makes it easy to report such incidences. You can send the exact nature of the incidents and location together with a picture. You can do this anonymously if preferred, and there would also be an integrated emergency call option. And also what I think could be a really good feature to have an integrated map that shows you hotspots of where such crimes often occur, so that if you're a woman, for example, traveling by yourself at night, you kind of avoid those areas. And if you have no mobile data connection at the moment of the incident, then you could save the report and it would be sent as soon as you have connection again. Okay, next slide. What do I already have? So I've done some research, and there are some public transport authorities that have started some apps, but they don't seem to be very successful, and just some small local authorities. So I also have some knowledge about existing websites and the potential user, me, but I've also talked to several other friends who would use this. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Thank you very much. Okay, then last but not least, Lorna.
Hi.
Hi. Wait a second.
Cool.
The Green Gang. Ready?
Yeah. Okay, so my idea is called the Green Gang. Just to note, this name is subject to change, a working name. Can we go to the next slide, please? So the problem I'm trying to resolve is the fact that there is rubbish littering the streets and parks of Berlin, and it's become kind of normalized to drop rubbish. But many people don't really feel that incentivized to go litter picking. And this is usually just because there are lots of other interesting things that they could be doing. Next slide, please. So the solution I'm proposing is that if we made litter picking a fun and sociable event, it's more likely we could encourage groups to clean up the streets. People need to be activated to change. So It's important that this change comes about with something that is fun for them, and it's a place for them to connect with other people. So this solution would actually target workplaces and other organized groups. This is because many workplaces and other organized groups are wanting to act and do more green activities, but are not really sure how to. It will also appeal to these groups because they're already looking to socialize, and workplaces are wanting to increase their team bonding. So the actual app could be a web or mobile app, and it will allow groups to select a street or park to clean up. This app will use Google Maps or OpenStreetMap as its data source. The group will do their cleanup and mark the street as complete. The street will then change color, and others can see on the app which streets have been cleaned. Next slide, please. So just some of the other things I'd like to explore. This is really about gamification. That's where the fun aspect comes in. So I'd love to think about creating leaderboards and getting people to put their photo and motto up. There'll also be ideas for themed litter picking, and also ideas to pair the litter picking with going for a drink afterwards, pulling data from the OpenStreetMap or Google Map for litter. And yeah, just to note that I'm on the UX track, so looking for data science people, web dev, and open to lots of thoughts and expertise. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
So yeah, thank you so much, guys. That were 13 amazing pitches. We are very, very happy that so many of you came up with such great ideas. Yeah, maybe to just sum it up, let me quickly, or maybe Felix, I can hand over to you. I don't know. Like maybe you can show again the link where people can submit their submit their preferences.
Yeah, sure. If you could stop your screencast, then I can share. So yeah, from my side also, let me thank you for those amazing pitches that worked really well. Really amazing ideas that you presented. So your next step to submit your preference will actually appear later today at this this block here. So will be the form to submit your pitches. So if you want to read on any of the topics covered today, here's the links to all the slides that have been presented. Here's the link to the knowledge base where most of your questions should be answered regarding the project phase. We have also, if you scroll there to the bottom, also put all the information that the people that submitted the projects wrote. So it's all up here. If you want to read more, just go to the knowledge page, and yeah, for sure. I think you can ask everyone that is part of a project to engage in the threads in the Slack channel. So just don't hesitate to use the Slack channel to ask any question you might have, or ask if you're a good fit or whatever. Okay, so I think that's it for the pitches. I would ask for one final round of questions for the project phase for the rest of the semester. If anyone got questions, just speak up now.
Hi, yeah, I have a question about the project kickoff next week. Yeah. Tuesday evening is like the one day when I can't participate because I have to work in the evening. And in the beginning, you mentioned that it would be really nice if everyone could participate. Like, will there be breakout rooms for teams, or is it like an event for everybody?
So what we imagine, so it's on Thursday, not Tuesday, but even then you're free to work there if you have to, of course. So the idea that we have is that we have a short presentation on what's coming, on what are like best practices, tools that you can use and stuff like this. And then we would use breakout rooms for every project, put the mentors into each breakout room so that we can like kick off the projects, speak about what needs to be done, what are the first steps, what are actionable tasks for everyone. So this is why I think it's really important that everyone can join. So I mean, if you have any chance to to get the time, it would be really, really nice.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for today? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. Even though we made our pitches and went about and did this, by the way, everybody did a fantastic job. It's really good. Despite that, I mean, personally speaking, the ideas that I presented, or everybody might have this feeling inside of them that we presented the idea, but we still do not know to what degree we can actually make it happen. And that's one issue or trouble that's already lingering in the back of our head. And then obviously we have other people that we have to work with different, the tracks that they're doing. And to be able to make sure and ensure that we have a well-integrated team, I think a lot of people have to take a proactive effort in order to make sure that we are able to understand what it is they can offer, what it is that we can do, make sure that we don't have people that have too many. So for example, it's not just web devs in the team. There are also people that can handle the data science aspect. Maybe there's the AI aspect. So because we only have 4 days to pick up the idea, which is fine, I suppose, because we have to pick up the idea. But after that, how do we make sure that we are in with the right team? Is it just going to be something that we are going to have to do, or are you as the organizers also going to ensure that you maintain some sort of a compatibility so that we can actually, everybody can achieve this and be successful in what it is that we're moving forward with?
Okay, so I totally get your point regarding the overall idea and the scope of the project and the knowledge you need to have to implement your ideas. So let me first talk about your idea. So I would say that the project you submit is like a rough outline of what you're going to do. I mean, I would expect that it's like the normal situation instead of the extraordinary, that you need to refine some of your ideas, or that you focus on one sub aspect because you realize that it's more complex than you thought initially. So this is completely to be expected, and we have no expectation that you implement your project ideas as you've pitched them. We just want to ensure that you implement a useful solution to a real world problem, and that is all that matters to us. So you're free to reiterate on your idea as you want. Regarding the team building, we would hope, because that's a real complex problem, because we also don't know the exact background of everyone involved. We would hope that you will be able to sort of figure it out until Thursday. Make heavy use of Slack discussions. You're also, of course, free to do video calls, video conferences on Slack or other tools. If you need any help for that, just contact us. Just to make sure that you've got the best team you can get. And then, I mean, if there are any limitations or anything you worry about after the project members have been assigned, just talk to us. That's the basic idea. So we are hoping that you will be organized, that you will be able to organize yourselves. And yeah, if that doesn't work, we are fully open to any sort of solution.
Can I suggest one small idea?
Sure.
Because we are all actually in the phase of like learning at the moment, which means we are all following a set of curriculum. Like, for example, I'm doing the web dev course. So if you go on Udemy and look at the Cold Steel's program, anybody who might be interested to know what it is that I'm doing, they can actually look at the topics that I'm learning to be able to get a general idea about what it is that this person might be able to do. And so if I was able to see what it is that the UX people were doing in terms of their course, maybe that would give me an idea on at least somehow be able to relate, that's nice, maybe that is what, and then there is something to talk about as well. So if you could just make all the whatever topics that we're learning for all the tracks transparent and just available for us to see in one place, maybe that could help. Just an idea. I might be wrong, but
yeah. I totally get your idea, and I think actually it's a good idea. The challenge is that even for the different tracks, the people don't have the same curriculum. So everyone has a slightly different one. Let me just think about it with the whole team. Sarah, maybe you
No,
want
I
to.
was just wondering if so would you need a real like the agenda and the curriculum, or would it be enough to just check out the other videos? Actually, like I mean, we made those videos in the beginning.
I think, I mean, of course, on the surface, you know, because we have the information that Till created for us, right, where he wrote down what it is that generally people can do. But if we were to able to just, it doesn't even have to be broken down into subtopics, but if we could only just see, okay, introduction to React, there's something, there's a keyword, okay, what is that? Oh, maybe that is something related. So if we can just, it doesn't have to be like a giant documentation, but just the outline of what it is that we are all learning, then maybe there is something we can talk about. You know, we can ask, hey, is this something related to the data thing? Are you, you know, maybe it opens an idea for discussion and things like that. So if just the broad coverage of the topics that they're learning should be enough. If anybody else thinks it's a good idea, they can also say, because it's just me that's mentioning this. So.
No, it makes perfect sense. Actually, like for the UX track, I know for sure that I did it in the video actually, because I was really like going through the course material and like pretty much made slides on the major topics and said like, that's what you're going to learn. So for UX, it's in there. I'm not sure for the other videos, but I mean, we can definitely hand it in and come with main curriculum points. Actually, Felix,
yeah.
I'm currently also like, I'm also a bit confused. Like there's this discussion currently in the chat deciding on the groups, because yeah, now we're actually recording this, but I mean, like my understanding was also that we are figuring it out to a degree, because I mean, they like people are submitting until Thursday their first, second, and third preference on what they want to work on, and then we are kind of like coming up with the suggestion how the teams are set up. Or did that change again?
Yeah, I mean, no, that's completely fine. That's completely right. But it's actually a bit of both. I mean, I would encourage everyone to get into a discussion with all the people that submitted a project idea, and to really make sense of what it means to implement that project. And after this discussion, submit your project references, and maybe also include whom you talk to. There's this free text field in that form, so that we can make sure that we make the right choices. Yeah, it's a bit of a combination of both. I mean, in the end, our process is you select 3 priorities and we decide, but you would basically just waste mental energy if you wouldn't talk to other people in the project groups until then. So I just wanted to stress that it's important to engage in a discussion.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Yes, please.
Felix?
Yes.
One more question, because you said the event would be next week Thursday. I'm quite confused now, because in the announcement Slack channel it said 9th of June, which will be Tuesday. Could you clarify the date?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's actually next Tuesday. I think I looked at July when I looked it up earlier. So let me double check it on the website, because for sure it's not just, yeah, it is. The pitch event takes place on 9th of June, which is next Tuesday. So next Tuesday is fine.
Okay, and maybe just to repeat that again. So I mean, for the teams. So what you will be doing is pretty much like state your first, second, and third priority on what project you would love to work, and based on that, we will come up with a suggestion for the teams. Also keeping in mind that I mean, you already stated what kind of backgrounds you would need, so we will try to bear that in mind and come up with teams that make sense. As Felix said, what would be completely great is if you get in touch beforehand and already talk to the people you would like to work with to make sure that all the skills are met. But we will help and assist you with coming up with a suggestion. And then, of course, afterwards, you can still discuss and change if you're unhappy with what we're providing. But we're trying to support you in that process of finding your team members.
I mean, maybe all of you can know that, like, even the pitches presented today only represent a very small portion of the actual idea the person that just submitted the project had in their mind. So it's really important to get a whole picture of what the group is going to do. So that is why we encourage everyone to start talking to each other.
Can I just quickly mention what I think is a beautiful thing about the whole, this, as long as everybody has done the studies that they are required to do, I think the whole web development scene at the moment is very compatible with all the 4 tracks. So I think in a way each project, regardless, will have all 4 of the tracks. So we are studying something that is absolutely complementary to each other by nature. I think the only thing is if we just make sure that what we are learning, we've done that well, and we understand that and execute these basic things that we are supposed to do, there shouldn't be that much of a difficulty as well. At least that's how I give myself consolation, because a website at the moment, if you were to break it down, breaks down to 4 elements. It's like AI is integrated, data science is integrated, and you've got the UX, and then you've got the web development. So that's what I think is going to make everything work personally. Just to say something positive as well, not to just cause a bit of a chaos in here. But that's what I think is a good thing about it at the end.
Okay, thanks, Arun.
All right. Any other questions?
Okay, is there something in the chat? Yeah, I mean, so Alexandra asked whether she should engage with all of her 3 preferences, and I would say yes, of course. I mean, if you have a strong preference for any one project, then make sure that you connect with that person especially well. But I mean, I would say for your overall success in the project phase, it makes sense if you just start talking to the projects you're interested in. That's the only thing I wanted to tell.
Cool.
All right.
Then
So if there are any other questions, just post them to Slack as usual. Well, and then I would wrap it up. Or what do you say, Sarah?
Yeah, please wrap it up.
Okay. So now I need to wrap it up. Thanks for your wonderful pitches. Again, I think it's a really extraordinary thing that that we get this kind of creativity from all of you people, and I also think that it really worked well tonight. So I've never seen like a pitching event of 2 minutes per pitch that worked so well over a remote meeting. So that's a first, definitely. So I'm really impressed, and I'm really looking forward to all of your discussions and your preference submissions until Thursday. And yeah, Sarah also says, thank you guys. Yeah, that's a nice wrap up, I think.
Yes. And yeah, please don't be worried about like the project and how they will look like in the end. And like, it's like, as Felix already mentioned, like what you pitch today will be guidelines, like in what frame you will be working, and what exactly is going to come out of it. You will see once you have your team together and you start working on it, and then you will refine it. And I'm sure it's like it's all going to be amazing project. So don't worry too much. Cool.
All right.
Then have a great evening, and see you guys next Tuesday, right?
Next Tuesday on the kickoff event, right?
Cool.
Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.